Herbs in Action, reflections and stories from the Phipps Conservatory and Botanical Gardens Botany in Action Fellows discussing herbs from around the world.
My name is Sarah Skubel. I am from Rutgers University in the Plant Biology Department for Natural Products and Human Health. And the herb I would like to talk about today is rosemary. It originates from the southern Mediterranean part of the world. It almost looks like a twig with these very small, long, and skinny leaves protruding from its sides. Kind of like a mini Christmas tree, so to speak, just very thin and delicate. People don't usually use the flowers for herbal purposes. They use the leaves and the whole twig on its own. But you can use the leaves all year round if you keep it as a houseplant, which a lot of people do, because it's very easy to grow. It almost doesn't like to be watered. You can easily forget about rosemary and come back to it in a few weeks and it'll still be kicking. But if you do keep it outside, the most potent volatiles and the most aromatic oils can be found in July or August, and you can just pick the leaves and then dry them or use them directly after picking the leaves. A lot of vegan recipes will include rosemary into its ingredients because it is always tied with this idea that the taste of rosemary is almost like the taste of meat. So they kind of replicate that experience by including rosemary into vegan alternatives. Even from the very early times of philosophers, scholars, they always recognized the herb for its property to improve memory and recall. And so a lot of scholars historically use it on their head. You might imagine it as something silly right now, but they actually made a crown of rosemary and they would keep it on their head while they studied. I do remember that as a child when I first learned that the greatest philosophers and the greatest scholars of the world used to wear rosemary crowns on their head to help them with memory, I would try to put like twigs of rosemary behind my ear or kind of like pin it to my hair while I was studying and often forget about it later on in the day. That's a silly memory of mine that I have with it.
Herbs in Action is a collaboration between Phipps Conservatory and Botanical Gardens and the Saturday Light Brigade and is made possible by the Mary Jane Berger Memorial Foundation, dedicated to educating the community about the many benefits and uses of herbs. To hear this feature again or to learn more about herbs from around the world, visit mjbergerfoundation.org.